Mikko Rantanen is the gift that keeps on giving. Another hat trick for the Moose as the Stars finally win Game 1 in Winnipeg by a final score of 3-2.
You're Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105 Through the Fan. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. Another natural hat trick from Mikko Rantanen. Can you believe he was traded not once, but twice this season? And he wills the Stars to another victory, a fantastic road win. The Stars have finally won a Game 1 under Pete DeBoer. What a fantastic road win. We're going to discuss it all, including the penalties. My goodness, the penalties have to stop. But the Stars get the job done in Game 1 in Manitoba. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Well, we have to once again lead the show with the man, the myth, the Moose, Mikko Rantanen. Another hat trick for Mikko. He becomes the third player in NHL history with a hat trick in consecutive playoff games, and the first since Jari Kurri in 1985. He has been in on 12 straight postseason goals for the Dallas Stars, the most in NHL history. This is some legendary stuff Mikko Rantanen is doing. Players with back-to-back playoff hat tricks, NHL history. I mentioned Jari Kurri. The other one was Doug Bentley in 1944, games 4 and 5 of the semifinals. Just incredible playmaking and elite goal-scoring ability from Mikko Rantanen. It cannot be understated. And once again, I say this is why you go out and get players like Mikko Rantanen for these moments. And he was brilliant tonight, not just offensively, made some fantastic defensive plays late, more than I can say with a few others. We'll get to them in a bit. But Rantanen just had his fingerprints all over this game. And yeah, he got a fortuitous bounce on the power play goal. The Stars did a lot of things right in this road victory. A lot of things right. Got off to a really nice start. Yeah, they gave up the first goal, but that sort of seems to be the theme for whatever reason this postseason. And it just felt like once they got going, they were going to find a way, and boom, Rantanen explodes. I think the game should have been a little easier for Dallas if the Stars were a bit sharper. I think you could say the same about Winnipeg as well. I think Dallas was lucky in some spots. Their puck management late wasn't that great. Out of their own zone was pretty poor. A lot of giveaways tonight by Dallas. A lot of turnovers. And I think if Winnipeg was a bit sharper, they would have buried some of them. And they buried the one late in the second period. And I predicted a 3-2 victory. I don't know if that's how I envision the Stars getting to a 3-2 win on the road. If you joined us for our Game 1 preview with Sam Nessler, but boy, I'll take it. And Rantanen is incredible. I'll say it again. I don't know how you can give that man away. How could you trade him? Not once or twice. And the real big question is, how is he doing this without Nathan MacKinnon? I won't let anybody down, because they were on Stars fans. They were on our community for months at a time about Mikko. Well, it's our time to soak it all in and throw jabs back at them, because this man has single-handedly just won a Game 7 and now Game 1 in Winnipeg. And Dallas gets off to a great start, man. 8 consecutive Game 1 losses finally snaps. Who knew? You just needed Mikko. What a performance from him. And there's some others I want to highlight in the game too. Sam Steele, incredible work on the PK. Oscar Beck had an excellent play on the power play late in the second period for or maybe it wasn't late, it was about halfway through the game for Winnipeg, and he lifted the stick on Velarde. It was on the Jamie Benminer penalty. Made a really nice defensive play there. Beck didn't play a ton in this game. They were double shifting Mikko, which I loved. He has the hot hand. Play him. He played over 20 minutes a night in Colorado. He's played a little less since he got over to Dallas, but they're starting to let the leash off a bit. And it would be nice if there's some other trios that could give them some juice, but the Stars can work with this. They need some other trios to start chipping in a bit. That's for sure. But we all know this Finn line is working tremendously. So they're going to have to continue to tweak and change some wingers here and there to find out what works. But I did want to highlight Beck and Steele. I thought they were instrumental in the win tonight. And Beck didn't play a ton, but made those moments important, made impactful plays. The game score for Rantanen, 4.76. When he was on the ice for Dallas, I think this pretty much sums it up. The amount of scoring chances at 5-on-5 when he was on the ice was 13. In all situations, it was 14. I just thought he was really, really brilliant. 6 high danger scoring chances, and look at the goals he scored. They weren't pretty. The one he just one hands it because he's at the top of the crease. It's where he scored goals this time of year. Second one's a deflection. Again, where is he? In front of the net. And then the third, he gets a fortunate bounce. And good for him to just put it on net. I think even if that doesn't get the fortunate bounce, Hintz probably buries it. But all the scoring in the second period, Winnipeg's transition game was really good. Dallas had some issues with their speed. The CC and Lindell pairing has me so worried because, number one, they struggle with some of the speed, and they were giving the puck away way too much. And I thought Winnipeg again had some opportunities to really make Dallas pay, and they just maybe weren't perfect. They failed to get a puck on net. Maybe the chance just skipped away. So Dallas needs to be a lot cleaner. That's for sure. But all in all, I thought a really, really solid road game, and that third period was pretty good. That was a big test for Dallas, and I think they passed it. They didn't pass with flying colors, but to kind of hang in there and do what they needed to do. And Otter came up with some massive stops late, massive saves. He made the one on Scheifele really late in regulation, and then that huge scrum, which, my goodness, I thought they were going to pot it home, and the Jets were going to do it again late in regulation. But Lindell was in there, and CC again. Like I give them props because they are playing heavy minutes, and they have to play against some of the best talent for Winnipeg. So they're going to give up some looks, but they have to be much better on some of their breakout passes. That's where they were causing issues for themselves. Some of it was just self-imposed because they weren't making smart plays. And we saw that a bit in the second. Like Dallas had some stretches where they were just a bit stagnant, and they didn't have a ton of momentum, and they weren't making clean plays. But when Mikko is humming, he can sort of cover that up. And just every time he came out on the ice, it just seemed like good things were happening. And even late in that third period, Dallas didn't have a ton of shifts in the offensive zone. The one opportunity that they had, which was a great look, was that Granlund chance with about 2.5 minutes left. Hellbuck made a really nice glove save on Granlund, who created the play. Rantanen on the forecheck, won a battle, and then worked it out in front. And I just thought to myself, he needs to play the rest of the game. He was so strong. Dallas got outshot 10-4, and it's not pretty, but I expect that to some degree for Dallas. They're not going to have a ton of offensive zone time when they're leading in a third period. It wasn't an awful period outside of the penalty taken by Sagan. Not a terrible period. And I was sweating out the entire final 20 minutes, but they got it done. Bishop Petrovic, again, they are elevating and playing above expectations. Just phenomenal stuff from them. That pair has really been, I mean, they've been a shutdown pairing. You look at the 5-on-5 expected goals against numbers. Petrovic 0.05. Bischel 0. Like, that's great stuff. And they didn't play a lot in the game. Bischel played 10-22 at 5-on-5. What were the total time on ice numbers? Bischel ended up playing 10-25. Petrovic 12-10. They didn't play a ton. But they found a way, and they didn't, and Dallas didn't have to tax some of their big guys that much. Like Harley played 24.5. Lindell played the most because Dallas was down a man, 4 times in the game. The penalty kill has been brilliant. If Dallas's penalty kill wasn't as lights out as it has been, their penalties would just absolutely haunt them, and they may have not gotten through the first round, and they may have not won this game against Winnipeg. But they found a way. I like, they haven't had a lot of luck in these game ones, and I thought they went in and they just played a really, really nice game. Thought they had the best start of the postseason, although they weren't leading and they gave up the first goal for whatever reason. But it just felt like they were in this tonight, and they were engaged. And I did like some of the line combinations. I want to touch on that in a bit, but I have to get to some of the asinine penalties Dallas took, because it's going to absolutely burst my bubble, although the Stars won tonight. So I'm a bit happier than I maybe would have. So let's talk about some of these unnecessary penalties. And we're going to single somebody out because I thought he was just atrociously bad today. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to move on. We'll do that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Indeed. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other sites. Indeed sponsored jobs put your post at the top of the page and help you reach the right candidates faster. Sometimes you've been in a spot, you just need to hire somebody yesterday. The pressure's on. Even every day without a right person is a setback. That's why Indeed sponsored jobs come in handy. They make sure your post gets seen by quality candidates right now. Now you can speed up the hiring process with a $75 sponsored job credit. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now. Support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring Indeed is all you need. Mikko Rantanen is spectacular, Stars fans. He's spectacular. And y'all know I was so high on him from the beginning. I don't know if I thought it would have reached these heights, but he just impresses. He impresses each and every game. Okay, that's a little positive note before we get into the penalty dilemma with the Stars. They have to help themselves out more. And I'm singling the captain out, number one. Jamie Benn had an awful game today. He was grinding my gears, and I just can't take it anymore. That penalty he took on Scheifele was just so inexcusable. So inexcusable. And at the end of the day, it did not come back to bite Dallas. And some of you, I know, thought it was a soft call. Don't get me wrong, it's a bit soft. But why is Ben throwing a shoulder into Scheifele when the puck is 30 feet to his right at the red line, and then tangling up with him, whether it's justified or not, tangling up with him all the way down the sheet? It's just an absolute momentum killer, and we saw it every time. Every penalty in this game was a momentum killer for Dallas. Great start. Marchment takes a hooking penalty on Pionk, and then Ceci gets the high sticking late in the first period. Just no reason with 8 seconds left. Ben takes the hooking penalty in the middle of the second period, just minutes after Dallas finally got on the board to tie the game. Momentum killed, and then they went stagnant for most of that period outside of Mikko Rantanen. But just momentum killers each penalty Dallas took today of the same, and it's not the, I'm forechecking hard, I'm battling, and maybe your stick got up in the face mask. I get that. Seguin's penalty is a little bit of that. It stinks. But again, 200 feet away from your own net. Stop taking those penalties. It's going to bite them in the rear end at some point. Their penalty kill has been brilliant, and all props to them. But, oh, my goodness, these penalties are just awful, and you can't continue to load up teams. And I don't want to harp on it too much. Dallas won, and then Ben's play on the wall, which led to the Scheifele goal late in the second period. If Winnipeg came back to win this game, I was going to have I may have had a tough time not trying to single out Jamie Benn. And look, he had a bad game. You're going to have some bad games. So I just want to throw that out there. It was probably his worst game of the playoffs by far. So you're going to have some stinkers. I get that. And I can live with that. But just some of them were just boneheaded, in my opinion. Stars were able to get through it, but Jamie Benn, let's have a better game. Okay. Let's have a better game. And I believe he's going to be better. And I will say, I thought his line in particular actually looks okay. I think they can be a decent line. Duchesne, Ben, and Seguin. I know we didn't see a lot from them, but I didn't hate it. I really didn't. Their shots on goal, 7-4 at 5-on-5 when they were on the ice. Believe it or not, at 5-on-5, they had the most scoring chances out of any line, 10. I thought they were pretty decent. They were on the ice for one of the goals, and of course that was Ben's not so great turnover. But I think the makeup of the line's actually pretty good. They started the game, and I can live with that, and I'm ready to roll it in game 2 as well. Johnston, Marchment, and Robo. Look, Robo looked like he's coming off an injury. He wasn't fully there. He may not be 100%. I would bet he's certainly not, just based off what we saw. But he had a few shots on goal. He had some plays here and there, but it's going to take him a bit to get going. But that line didn't produce a ton in the game. That line was probably the more disappointing of all four, and they weren't bad in the game. Look, if Jamie didn't have, I thought, a really subpar game, that line probably would have really stood out a bit more. But of course, Rantanen sort of overshadows a lot of everything. I love Rantanen double shifting with Steele and Dodon. Steele's just been, he's so awesome. Like y'all know me, I was pumped on him from the beginning when they went and got him a few years ago. I love his game. Just such a winner. Just makes winning plays consistently. And back the shifts he played, as I mentioned, didn't play a ton, but impactful, smart, easy, simple plays. And that was sort of a theme I thought throughout the night. Although Dallas turned the puck over a bit too much for my liking. The giveaways, it was 14 apiece. I'm gonna key in a lot more on giveaways from Dallas than I am Winnipeg, just because I'm watching through that lens. So maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought, but just solid stuff. I mean, all the way around, a good theme, and they were good in the dots late. They won a couple big draws, 54%. Seguin was good in the dots. Steele was winning plays really from Dallas. And but man, those penalties have to stop. And I hate to bring a sour note to this to this podcast, because we finally won a game 1. It's nice starting off a series smiling and not worrying about now we have to win game 2. It feels like a must win. So job is done. They've gone in there and won on the road against a really good Winnipeg team. And we got Robo back a bit, which is good. And outside of the penalties, you take a few of those away, some good stuff. And look, I can live with maybe you're giving up maybe you're trying to stop a goal, right? You're trying to take away scoring chance. I can live with those a bit, but I thought most of them were just really unnecessary. for Dallas tonight. And Stars didn't get a ton of calls either. But I thought the officiating was fine, much better than the Colorado series. I'll tell you that. I will say, if we had some of the Colorado crews, I think there may have been 2 or 3 more power plays, because there's some guys that went down, and I bet they would have been called. But really nice key stuff. And again, we'll kind of touch on this here in the take home segment. Stars are just doing a lot of things timely, like just timely stuff, goals, saves, you name it. And that's how they won against Colorado, and they're off to a good start here against Winnipeg. Let's talk about getting the job done on the road in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, spending in one place, so you can stop just managing your money and start building wealth. We've been there before. You're spending too much money eating out when you're working, and you're going out and you're having fast food. Well, Monarch Money helps you budget smarter and save more. It's that all-in-one convenience. You can find out what you're paying for, some of those subscriptions, track your spending, even plan long-term goals. It's smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, which is great too, in case you want to track your accounts with a partner. Stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNHL, monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNHL for half off your first year. So the Stars take game 1, 3-2. Mikko Rantanen is that man. All 3 goals for the Moose, and he's special. He is very, very special. But Dallas has just seemed to have a knack for the clutch gene a bit, and remarkable after what we saw the final month of the season, where just nothing was going well. And Otter, again, wasn't great tonight. Or I would say he wasn't spectacular. He was great. I think he was better than good, but he made some really key stops in the game. He had the one on Connor off the faceoff. Something I know Winnipeg did really good at creating chances seconds after winning faceoffs. That's somewhere where Dallas needs to adjust, because Connor got loose a few times, and then we saw late too, Sandberg had a decent look, I think with under 5 to play in regulation. Right off that faceoff, Connor moved to the middle, kind of flipped it over to Sandberg, and then Otter was able to get over and smother it. So he had some of those key saves. I didn't love the first goal he got up. I think he thought Niederreiter was going to circle the net with it, because he was so far off his angle. And Otter gets off his angle every once in a while, but to me, I think he believed Niederreiter was going to hold on to the puck and try to wrap around, because he was so deep in his net, and it gave that little backhand shot from it gave Niederreiter that opportunity to go against the grain, and he put it off the far post. So I think Otter believed he was going around the net just because he was that deep. I could be wrong. Maybe he was just that off that much, and then that's awful. He's got to be a bit better there. Didn't love that. Second goal from Scheifele, again, just a really, really inopportune turnover, and Scheifele from inside the top of the circles. It's going to bury that more often than not. But he made some key saves here, and the power play was gigantic. And again, I know it was a fortunate bounce for Rantanen, but that was a big time power play goal. They go 1 for 2 tonight, and it made it 3-1 at the time. Stars should have had a 3-1 lead going into the third period. And that's where I sort of touched on earlier, that felt like Dallas probably should have had this game a bit more comfortable than it really was, because of just some self-imposed mistakes. But you're going to have those. Look, you're not going to play perfect games. So like those are going to happen, but they just had an act for not playing incredible dominating hockey. And I'll sort of revert back to this. They're just not really built that way right now, with Haskin back, maybe they have an opportunity to really dominate possession more, sort of play more Stars hockey that we've been accustomed to seeing. But they're just kind of at this point where they're getting really elite scoring for some of their big boys. They're just hanging in games. And when they need a goal, when they need that save, they're getting it. You can win a lot of games that way. You can win a lot of playoff games that way with special teams and goaltending. And that's what Dallas is doing. And don't get it twisted. This is probably the best game Dallas played this postseason. That really includes the 6-2 win against Colorado, I believe. Some of the possession number pretty good tonight. Outchanced Jets 26-15. 10-9 high danger chances at 5-on-5. The shots on goal 23-22 at 5-on-5. Dallas got off to that quick start, had the first 9 shots on goal, and then Winnipeg pushed in the third period. Dallas didn't need to score again, but that's also a really good sign too. And yes, I know we all wish Dallas would go out and score that insurance goal in the first 5 minutes of the third period, but it's a good sign they were able to close out Winnipeg. I tweeted, I didn't think 3-2 was going to hold, and I was thinking it held. And I thought Dallas did a really solid job. Outside of that scrum in front, Sandberg had a great look. There wasn't a huge plethora of chances the Jets had. They had 8 in the third period. That's not awful. It really isn't. And that's with them pulling the extra attacker, trying to really just find a spark. Look at the chances in the first 2 periods, 7 chances combined at 5-on-5 for Winnipeg. That is solid. That is solid freaking stuff from Dallas. We should be really encouraged about what we saw here tonight. Really, really encouraged. And I'm sorry if it doesn't feel that way. If you if you listened to last segment, we should be really, really encouraged about what Dallas did here tonight. And it was a great test. They pass it, and here we go. Series is underway. It's going to be a good one. I think it really is. I like the way both these teams play. They just kind of play similar. Winnipeg looked like they were trying to stretch Dallas out. The second period really opened up. A lot of stretch passes from Winnipeg. They caught Dallas in changes a few times, so that's something I'm really intrigued about as the series wears along. How Dallas tries to combat that. We saw they were trying to muck up that neutral zone, force Winnipeg to chip and give their defense some time to go back and retrieve pucks. And for the first couple periods, thought Dallas was excellent on a lot of their breakouts. Third period gave me some anxious moments with some of their plays up the wall. They're a little soft here and there, but I thought a really, really solid game one, and that's a really good sign against a great team, and you'll take it. Get out of Winnipeg, maybe by win in a couple of days. It'll be tough, but you took home ice away, and that was their job. So Stars finally, it's been since 2018, I think, since maybe it was 2019, the Stars' last victory in game one against Nashville. Miro scored twice against the Preds. PK Subban was still playing at that time. Zuccarello was a Dallas Star. That was a fun team. It really was. That's when the Stars were underdogs. And they beat Nashville 6 games that year in that John Klingberg overtime winner. Woo! Time has flown. Now the Stars are contenders, and they got Mikko Rantanen. I'll say this to leave you. I don't know if this. Okay, Madonna, of course, letting in all the legend, but since I've kind of grown up, I don't know if Dallas has had a player like this who seems he's comfortably within the top 10 best players in the NHL. Maybe I'm mistaken, but this is incredible. Sagan, Ben, a couple of those years were awesome, but like Rantanen's even another level than them. I think that's comfortable to say. And I don't want to get jaded because of the recency bias, and we just watched him score 2 natural hat tricks in back-to-back games. But let me know in the comments below. Maybe I'm too young, but I think he's one of the best players they've ever had. And he's off to a good start, especially his postseason career. Alrighty, I'll let you go, Stars fans. Have a great rest of your day. Stars had that 1-0 series lead. They take game 1 over the Jets, 3-2 in Manitoba. We'll be back for another episode, maybe a game 2 preview, or maybe I'll just throw out my game 2 episode. Kind of depends on the schedule. I could be working a game. I could be not. So bear with me. Have a great day, Stars fans. We'll see you next episode.